You are now in tune to the Keys to the City podcast.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Keys to the City. I'm your host, Trevor Keys, alongside the big brother T3, Ted Keys. He's already laughing. Ted, another Tuesday.
No, I'm just laughing because I'm listening to the T show and they're like, the amount of weight of this Aaron Rodgers trade and on the New York Jets is huge, bro. It's and if it just comes crashing down, it's gonna be so funny because listen, I got nothing to talk about. I wanted to joke with you before and say, listen, all New York sports right now suck. I mean, the Rangers are playing really well. That's probably a bad statement, but of the the two New York football teams, the two baseball teams are awful. I mean, if you look at the whole Northeast, Patriots are, in the football sense, Jets, Patriots, and Giants are maybe three of the four worst teams in football. The Patriots, record-wise, are the worst team in the AFC. The Giants, the only reason why they're not the worst team is because the three other teams, if it's even possible, might be worse than the Giants. That's the Bears, the Cardinals.
No, I hate to say this, and I hate to say this, but it is.
I mean, the Giants did
New
beat
York,
Arizona.
New York
so,
sports.
I mean, are we better?
New York sports once again gets a kick of reality, a kick in the ass, a kick of reality. We all get excited. Think about us, New York fans. We're New York fans. We're people don't like us. That's how it is. People don't like us, but people. I don't like New York fans either. They're pain in the asses, but you know what? They're passionate about their teams, and it's another loss.
How bad both teams are? Do you realize? And I joked with you on the gym, and we'll just have fun with this. I was like, if you put these two New York teams together, they're still a bad football team. Now, yes, their defense would be elite.
Yeah.
I mean, you would take.
Their running backs would be nice.
But
nice combo.
They'd have one receiver just like they do now in Garrett Wilson. The Giants, I wouldn't take one receiver on the Giants. Oh no, I would take.
Give me Wandell and Jalen Hyatt
with Garrett Wilson. Yeah,
hell yeah. Give me that speed. I'll take Tyler Conklin. I'll take Tyler.
Better than Waller. At least he plays on the field. Then we have Brees and Saquon.
That's problem is we got Andrew Thomas.
Here's the major problem, which we'll get into with these two teams, is
we got Andrew
the
Thomas.
Offensive lines would both still suck.
Yeah. But Andrew Thomas, you got an all-pro and Andrew Thomas.
Okay, that's great. One player out of five.
It's a left tackle. It's the most important one.
What about the other four?
I get it, but we would still have.
Well, listen, Evan Neal's on skates, bro. It didn't matter. We got Andrew Thomas. Dude, great. The whole right side got caved in.
Dude, this is.
Listen.
Here's
the other problem. Who's the quarterback? Tommy DeVito?
Zach Wilson, probably.
Matt Barkley?
No, we believe in Trevor. Trevor Siemian will be the quarterback.
The Giants just signed?
Jacob Eason, I saw that.
Yeah, Georgia product. So I mean,
played Georgia and Washington.
Bro, the biggest problem in the NFL with a lot of teams is the quarterback play. I get it, offensive lines too, and we'll get into both teams. But the quarterback play, bro, there's 8 quarterbacks that are. We talk about like our pyramids of tiers of teams and stuff. There's 8 legit quarterbacks in this league, like Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks. And then there's like 4 or 5, I think, that need a lot on their supporting cast, meaning like a Brock Purdy, a Dak Prescott, a Jared Goff. Those are the guys I think are good enough to win a Super Bowl, but they have to have all the pieces surrounded. But I think there's 8 guys in this league that are legitimately like, okay, they all have Super Bowl caliber potential, even with some of the deficiencies on the teams. And then everyone else, Trev, that puts you at 12. That means 20 other teams don't have a quarterback.
I'm so glad you brought up the quarterbacks, Ted. I did something big today. I got some breaking. This is breaking news, I think. I think this is breaking news because I went out on a limb. I'm taking a chance on this. I'm riding high with my guy right now. And breaking news, Ted, I did something that I think I've done maybe once or twice. If not, I've never done it. I placed a bet today. On the MVP. I'm riding high with my guy. Give me it because it's so wide open. C.J. Stroud. Give me C.J. Stroud. Love the odds.
going to win the MVP.
Love the odds. I love the odds. I took the chance.
Their team has to be. Listen, it has to be a top tier team.
Do you not? That's not true.
Yes,
It's wide. Oh, dude, it is. If you can sit here right now.
I wish.
If you can sit, hold on.
I wish Pat was on the line right now.
Pipe down.
We had this conversation last night.
Pipe down. If you had a favorite right now of MVP, because I got asked by our good old friend Pat Clapp. He asked, "Who's the MVP? Who's the MVP to you right? Who is it?"
I told him right now, or who I think could be the one.
No, Ted. I'm talking right now. Why do we got to think about the future? Think now. Who's the MVP?
Right now, I think it's a three-way tie.
Okay, of course he goes tie. He can't pick definitively.
I mean, because I would
unfreaking believable.
Honestly, probably
it's not surprising.
Mahomes, then jerk.
No, you just said Mahomes.
Mahomes statistically, if he's not one, he's two. Lamar should be right there, and third should be Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' numbers is just as good as they were last year.
My top two is easy.
And here's the thing: all three of those teams are the three best teams in the league, and that usually is the kicker when it comes down to my total.
But I think it's wide open because
you know who I told him though I would take as a long shot. It's not really a long shot now. It was about 2 weeks ago. Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Why can't we go? Why can't we ride high with? Why can't I ride? Why can't I ride high with CJ Stroud?
Because the Texans are. I mean, maybe they get in the playoffs.
What if they?
They're going to take one of the four best teams. So if Cincinnati gets really hot and continues this,
what if they beat? Hypothetically, it's not going to really happen. Maybe it does. What if they beat Cincinnati?
Well, it could happen. Chase might be out this week. So
damaging to my
the
fantasy
way
team.
the reason why I said Joe Burrow is because I look at it like they're hot right now. They can get into a serious groove where they started and where they finished. They end up winning the division, right? And they become one of the top 2 seeds. They still play Kansas City in Week 17. They still play Baltimore again. You know what I mean? They got their division, which right now, that's a huge piggyback for themselves because every team in that division is above 500 and in the playoffs. So if he not only wins the division after having the ankle injury and it's because of him, because you can see he's been in a groove. He's been the best quarterback in NFL the last 2 weeks, statistically by PFF. Right now he's been the best quarterback. But the thing I think about Stroud is, listen, I think down the road, absolutely. I just think it's really going to be a hard shot for him because even if they win like 10 games, I think the bias.
It wasn't a big bet. No, it was just good odds. It was just good odds.
But bias in the NFL, they'll never give it to a rookie. It's almost like they won't give it to an offensive player other than the quarterback.
We never seen it though. That's why never seen it.
Well,
I'm just saying it wasn't, dude. Ted, here's the thing.
How good he would have to be.
Ted, here's the thing. It wasn't a big bet, so it's not even like.
I get it.
I just the odds were nice. The odds were good on DK. They were nice. DraftKings, they were nice. Yeah, DraftKings.
Oh. I
looked, and I like the odds.
I mean, I saw like Burrow on one of the things was like plus 800. So
I talked to one of my guys. I talked to a guy. You know what I mean?
But no, listen, that speaks.
It's wide open. I mean, we could have a receiver. I mean, we could have Tyreek Hill.
They won't give it to the receiver.
Why not? We can have Tyreek Hill. We could have AJ Brown if they continue at their, historic rate right now. What they're playing at. Who knows? You still got 8. They still got 8 games left. 8 games are still left.
Randy Moss broke the receiving touchdowns in the season 07. He didn't even get in the top 3.
We'll say, dude. I'm just saying.
Because they'll end up giving it to Tua.
I'm not saying with touchdowns. I'm saying with yards. I'm saying with yards.
They're gonna have to win. Listen, he'd have to have 25 touchdowns and 2,500 yards receiving.
What if he breaks the receiver? What if he? I never know. I'm just saying. I just said we were talking about 8 games. Well, Ted,
8 games.
There's 8 games left in the season, but
oh Christ,
Ted. Something. There's a certain thing that goes around that you hear a lot. There's 3 certainties in life. I added this third one: death, taxes, and the New York Giants season coming to an end before Thanksgiving and drafting inside the top 5.
Should have said the IRS. That's what Bill Parcells said.
I don't want to say the IRS because Bill, it feels like the IRS is taking The New York Giants are taking away all of this once passion and this once excitement we all Giant fans had a few months ago. And to know that this is where it currently stands once again. It sucks. It's shitty to know that it's Thanksgiving and we're 3 weeks out from Thanksgiving. And the New York Giants once again season, Ted, is over. See, with the Jets, though, that's why the Jets, they still have hope because that defense they can rely so heavily on. They'll win games because of that defense. Zach Wilson, just don't screw it up. But that's a whole nother story. But the Giants season is over, man. The Raiders put the nail in the coffin. How many times are you going to hear that for the rest of the season? Tell me that. The Raiders put the nail in the coffin on a franchise. That's what they did right now and for the rest of this year.
What a waste for Saquon Barkley.
It's a shitty feeling because, and dude, I was just watching like videos on Twitter. It sucks. Like, I know me and you weren't the biggest fans of Daniel Jones, but to know that realistically, as a Giant fan and all these fans that are excited that Daniel Jones is gone, like, you're just a bunch of losers. That's just loser talk. Like, I'm a New York Giant fan. I don't want to see any of the players on the New York Giants get hurt, because if they go down, then most likely the season goes down with it. And to know that the injuries that have just been piled up, Ted, and to know now that the quarterback, and which will forever be debated and discussed because of the contract, but to know that the season is over and his season is over, and who knows if his tenure as the New York Giant quarterback is over with, because now the New York Giants once again are in the top 5, thinking top 3. And I'm not saying 3 or 2, Ted. I'm thinking possibly number 1, because realistically, Ted, there is a huge game this week, Ted, for our purposes. Panthers and Bears Thursday night. Bears win. That's 3 wins. So then the Giants, they lose, which we all expect them to lose to Dallas, Ted, to get pummeled. I don't even know how they score a touchdown. I even get down the field in that game. Listen to this. But to know that they're going to be in the top 3 again, Ted. Sorry, and I'll let you get in a sec. And to know that they're going to be possibility of picking 1 or 2, and there is a real debate that the New York Giants could be drafting either Caleb Williams, Drake May, or somehow they bring Daniel Jones or somebody else in and they take the best available player, which is one of these linemen, Penn State for Shnu, and then Joe Alt from Notre Dame. Or do they go with Mr. Everything to Ohio State, Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr., take the receiver that the Giants desperately need as well? It's all possibilities, Ted, but the season's over. They're going to go 2-8. The season's over before Thanksgiving, and we're talking once again 1 year. I don't even know. Ted, the question is, what the hell happened?
Well, I'll tell you what happened.
What I want to say is
this Sunday in Vegas, one better at the BetMGM Sportsbook wagered $330,000 on the New York Giants plus 1.5. So just to cover it. And then, bro, must have been a long couple hours watching that Giant game. Imagine betting $330,000.
No, Ted, I can't.
On the New York Giants to win the football game.
I effing can't.
And they lost. Dude, I would. Oh my God. First of all, never bet. That's the Giants, yeah. I think the exclamation point on Giants season was this past Sunday. There's really nothing.
No, there's no thinking, Ted. It was.
Yeah. I mean, we lost our quarterback. To your comment before, when people cheering, it's very sad. We live in a cruel world. The only thing I will say, though, it might give the Giants and all of us fans clarity. Like, hey, listen, this whole magic trick that the Giants have been trying to put on us as fans, trying to say, hey, listen, this guy's good enough. We just need the right weapons around him. We need the right coach around him. At least I think for most of us, it gives us an answer like, hey, the Giants have to move on. Like, this is a story. 2 neck injuries, ACL, it's been hurt. Like, he's not the guy. He's not the guy, bro. You can see it. He's the guy. This is not a hard league anymore to figure out if the guy is not there or he is the guy. I mean, come on, let's face the facts, bro. Look at CJ Stroud. You don't need You don't need magnifying glass to figure out that this guy's good. You can just tell. Like, certain guys just have it. Like Anthony Richardson from the.
If you're gonna say it with your chest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Anthony Richardson before he got hurt. I mean, you could see potential there. Like you were saying, you can look at Bryce Young and like, this guy's not going to make it. Like, he's not making 10 years in this league. It's happening. He's not the guy. And then you can at least look at the last 2 games. I think we talked about it maybe even briefly last week on the show. You could just look with one eye and see, oh my God, Will Leff looks the part as an NFL quarterback. At least promising arm, size, strength, ability to move the ball. I mean, shit, he scored more points for the Titans the last 2 weeks than the Giants have scored like in 5 weeks with whoever we've had a quarterback. You just tell certain guys are the guys. You don't have to make this complicated. The Giants don't have a quarterback. The Giants don't have an offensive line. After all these guys that we have drafted over the years, it just hasn't panned out. I don't know what it is. Either they bloom too early in college, but I mean, Evan Neal had statistically size, strength.
Dude, he was projected at one point during the draft process. One point, Ted, he was projected the number 1 pick. There was one time that Evan Neal.
There was a
dude. Evan Neal was at one point in that draft process was the number 1 pick in mock drafts.
Yes, so it's just Eric Flowers, all these other guys that they drafted. You know, oh my God, they drafted Andrew Thomas. That's the only good pick. The offensive line is still an issue. It's a major issue. It has not been fixed, and it's been an issue for God, I don't know how long. It's long enough that I can't remember, and that's over 5 years. And if you haven't fixed it in 5 years, that's a problem. You know, that's an issue we've talked about on the side when we haven't talked about the Bills. Can't figure out your offensive line. Like, really? Like, figure out your offensive line, man. The Chiefs figured out their offensive line in like a year and a half. Fixed it out. Draft, trades, boom.
What do you want?
They hit on spots. The Giants, hold on. The Giants have no offensive line. Quarterback's ACL. They have no.
As a Giant fan, hold on. But as a Giant fan,
I feel bad for Saquon. He's the only weapon we have now. I mean, think about it. Waller's out. We have no receivers. We have no quarterbacks.
What do you want this team to do? If you're looking right now, it's November 7th.
I don't know
where the season is and where it's going.
Deadline is over. Hold on.
Okay, but I'm not talking about the trade deadline. I'm talking about like in your just your. What do you think? What do you think? Realistically,
yes.
What should they do?
I don't want them to win football games. The hardest thing to say to the fan is like, yeah, you rooting for your team to lose? No, I'm not effing rooting for my team to lose. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking every win being 6-10 or 6-11 or whatever the goddamn record is going to make a difference. It could make a significant difference on where the Giants' future is. Let's be dead honest. The Jets winning a football game a couple years ago and not having the number 1 pick and getting Trevor Lawrence changed their franchise. No shit, I don't know if Trevor Lawrence would have panned out. Maybe the Jets would have screwed him up too. But at least you look at the prospect and you're like, there's no way this guy can get screwed up. Like, he's too effing good. Like, you don't have to figure it out. Andrew Luck, like, you want to get Andrew Luck. You know, you want to get Peyton Manning. Like, you want to get this guy. Like, you know, this guy is that goddamn good.
So,
this should be like Rocky. Don't say goddamn. It's bad.
Yeah, don't say that word. That's not a good word. That's not. You can't. If you want to say anything else, do not say the Lord's name.
Yeah, I know. You're like Rudy, and I'm like that guy, his Studer. You know.
I'm Rudy. Everybody loves me. Who's the wild man now? Also,
great day for a football game, huh, Doc?
Not watching the Giants. Not on Sundays anymore. Watching the Giants, it's not fun to watch. But
no, realistically, Trev, let's be honest.
Do you want Caleb Williams or not?
Yes.
That's who you want.
Yeah, of course. Why would I not? He's good enough, bro.
I'm just asking.
The only thing I fear for him is he plays a little bit backyard football, but I feel like we can tune that in. It's like the skills are there, bro. Like, he's got no defense.
I think the Giants are.
And he's the only playmaker on that USC. Let's be honest, bro. If he's not on that team, that's the Colorado Buffaloes. Like, they're bad. They're bad. Like, they're a bad team.
No, but that offense is a pretty good offense. Don't disrespect the offense. It's just that team is what they're at. To be where they're at right now, I mean, that team was 1-11 last year.
I think teams are going to overlook it, and they're going to try to say Drake May should be the number 1 pick. No, he should not be. Caleb Williams should be the number 1 pick.
You don't like Drake May?
It's not that I don't like him, but you're getting the second best guy. And I told you I thought he was a poor man's Justin Herbert, which is still really good. I just
And
think
what is Caleb Williams ceiling to you?
top
Please don't say it.
top 5 quarterback in the league within 3 years.
And where's Drake May? In 3 years.
3 years, right at that 10 spot.
It's Herbert versus
Burrow.
Okay.
I want Burrow.
I get it.
I want Mahomes.
Depends on everything.
Maybe he's closer. Maybe Drake May is closer to Dak. So you get great Dak versus Burrow. That could be the difference. That legitimately could be.
Drake May has some athleticism to him.
Dude, he's Herbert. Herbert could run too. I don't know why he doesn't run, but he's got he's bigger than Caleb. He looks stronger. He's got a great arm.
He's got a great arm. Great accurate.
I don't know if he's got a better arm.
He's got a strong dude. His arm is
bigger,
incredible.
You know what I mean? He's got the Daniel Jones kind of build, but he's more athletic. I think he has better quality tools. But I mean, let's be honest, bro. The difference between the 1 and 2 pick, and here's the other thing: if the Giants have the number 1 pick, if you want to play games, right, and you want to roll the dice, trade back to 2, to 3, to 4. Go get Marvin Harrison on one of the left tackles and let someone come up and give you multiple assets and be in that position. Don't be the number 2 guy. Be the first guy and hold all the cards to your plate and figure out, hey, you know what? We're either going to take Caleb Williams, which everyone would say you have to, or you say, you know what? I'm going to ride and die.
Did you ever look at the PFF top 10 mock draft and what the trade was? Because PFF came out with...
And you're probably giving up 4 picks. So it's probably 2 1s, maybe a
3
and a 4th, maybe 1, 3, 4 and a first round the following year, or a 1, 3, and 5 and a 1. So you're giving up 3 picks in this year's draft, and you're giving up a first round the following year. But here's the problem: the Giants, I can't see them doing that because there's way too many holes on the Giants. Giants cannot be giving up picks. The Giants need to be like the Oklahoma City Thunder. They need to accumulate assets. This is like when I was in the old Madden game.
But here's the thing.
I used to trade my players and override the trade so I could get the number 1 and 2 pick.
There's one big and then you would create a player and then get the player. It'd be you and you would put him at 99. You're like, okay, I'm going to trade.
No. I was playing the NCAA football so I could go draft the players that I had in NCAA football. So I'd get like Ray or Woo or Charles on my team because they are always the top player coming out of the draft. So I needed the 1 or 2 pick. I don't want them in the other NFL teams. So I would just trade my other players. Like, I'd ride with Tiki. Trade Tiki for the number 1 pick and my 1 pick. And boom, I'll take the number 1 pick. I'll pick Ray. And it's,
that was wild. Those were wild times.
Those are good days when we used to play video games and life was easier.
Yeah. Now barely can play video games.
Now we can't even find time to do this show.
Hey, we're getting older, man. We're getting older. We make it work. We do make it work.
I mean, do you not agree with me?
I understand.
To know that
the Giants are there was 2 messages. Very simple and clear to me that the Daniel Jones injury is so unfortunate because you don't want to see anybody, especially a Giant player and a guy that's been dealing with it since day 1. That's just a shitty ending to a possible career that wasn't what was planned, hopefully, for all Giant fans. But 2 things.
Man.
The other thing, no, don't boo him. He got hurt.
No, I know.
The other thing was Joe Shane, Brandon Brown, and Tim McDonald were at the USC Washington game. It means something when your GM who is traveling as well, looking at trying to look for the right pieces that are going to work for this team in the future, to know that he went to USC, seeing Caleb Williams, seeing the game firsthand in person. That right there just tells you everything. That's all you need to know. The Giants are in on a quarterback. Sunday was just the nail in the coffin. Hold on. Sundays was just the nail in the coffin for the team this year. And sadly and unfortunately, for the end of Daniel Jones as a New York Giant starting quarterback. Because they're all in on a quarterback. They're all in.
I think a lot of teams should be. And that's the thing. Listen, Arizona's bringing back Murray, it says this week. I just saw, unless anything foreseen happens in the next couple of
any setbacks.
So he's going to start. And I think the Cardinals, in my mind, I think they want to ride with Kyler. And I think they want to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. so they give that's your stud, and you team him up. You draft an offensive line.
If they get the number 1 pick, are they taking Harrison?
No, they trade back, get more assets.
Because the Bears get the number 1 pick, or Carolina's pick, they're taking a quarterback. If the Patriots get the number 1 pick, they're probably taking a quarterback.
I think if Arizona, I think they ride with Kyler Murray. I think his cap hit's too big. I think they draft either the offensive lineman from.
So there's a real possibility,
or Marvin Harrison. And now there is like what we've seen what Jamar Chase has done with Joe Burrow and that offensive Bengals. It changed
the real possibility
Diggs with Josh Allen. Go get a number 1 stud receiver. Team him up with Kyler Murray for years to come. It's a young team. Kyler Murray's not going anywhere for a couple of years, at least 3 years. Team him up, see what you got. You drafted an offensive lineman this past season, Paris Johnson out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
You could, if you have the 1 or 2 pick, you can always drop back to 3 or 4. You can get one of those receivers, pick up extra assets, because at the end of the day, this team is as a whole a bad team. It's like the Giants. You need as many young, talented players. Like, come on, feed me. Like
good old rested R.I.P. Bob Barker, come on down. That's what we need.
Yeah, because they're not one player away from going to the playoffs. The Giants are not one player away. Fool's gold, bro. I don't care what happens next year, even with all the cap.
I'm just saying that. Here's what I'm saying.
In 1 year, a Super Bowl caliber team.
Here's what I'm saying. If the Giants, the Patriots, the Bears, and I think that's it, really.
Atlanta.
Those are the teams. I don't think Atlanta's outside because they're right now. You have to hope for a miracle for Atlanta unless they trade up and they trade the fortune to go get a quarterback, which they could. I'm not saying it couldn't. I'm not saying it's out of the possibility. What I'm saying is that hold on. If the Patriots, the Bears, and the Giants all have the number 1 pick, without question, they are taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are the only team that's not that maybe if they get the number 1 pick. And that's why I say they're a big wild card, because maybe this is just a trial for Kyler coming back from injury and he plays great. And then maybe they trade him to a team like Atlanta. Atlanta goes to get him. So they take Atlanta's pick. I'm thinking crazy. I was thinking about this past weekend, talking to my roommates about it. Like, Kyler gets traded. Atlanta's like, okay, screw it. We don't have a quarterback. Tyler Heineke's a nice thanks. Okay, great story. But you're not going to be our starter for the future. They go trade it. That's a possibility. Those are, to me, those are the teams.
What if you're Atlanta, right? And you win 1 or 2 games. You finish in the top 8 or 10 picks, right? You're in Carolina where you are last year. They came up to the Bears and won. What if Arizona's got the 2nd or 3rd pick? Atlanta's like, you know what? We'll give you Kyle Pitts a 3rd round. This year's 1 and next year's 1 to come up to 3 or 1 or 2. You're Arizona. You're like, well, okay, so I can go back to 9. I'm going to pick up an extra
Drake May or something.
I'm going to get Kyle Pitts as a young tight end. The team put on my offense. We'll use him as a receiver.
Well, they got Trey McBride. They got Trey McBride too, as a nice piece.
Yeah, we got the number 9 pick. We can get a receiver. We can move back up to 6 or 4 if
get one of the tackles.
Or one of the tackles. We had another 1st round pick the following year, so that means we'll have 2 1s the following year. You have Pitts. You'll have an extra 3rd. Now you're looking at whatever they traded. You're gonna. I'm just saying, like, Atlanta's another.
My whole talking point about this was that the Cardinals, if they have the number 1 pick, they're the one team out of these tiers of teams right now that are in the running for the number 1 pick. The Cardinals, the Bears, the Giants, the Patriots.
Makes a run out of Justin Fields.
Who?
I think Atlanta makes a run out of Justin Fields.
That's another name to watch out. I think that's a real possibility as well. I don't see that as any surprise if it happens. If it actually happened, I wouldn't be surprised, because I have a feeling that could be. Bring him back. He's a hometown guy, Georgia guy. Bring him right back home. There's Norm. So there's only, realistically, to me, the Giants, the Patriots, the Bears. There's only 3 teams, realistically, that are going to be in that running for a Cardinals, maybe, but they're going to be thinking about maybe something else, maybe a bigger picture. Marvin Harrison would be the only other option to me. But the Giants season's over, man. It's a shitty feeling again that after 1 year today, the Giants were maybe the Rams too. If they keep losing, there's a possibility as well. I mean, Sean McVay, they've done Lesney, they've made crazy trades before. What makes we not believe believe that it can't happen?
If you're a team like maybe Atlanta, because he did play there in college.
So you're in on the Giants going quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Okay.
Listen, it has to be.
Okay.
Fix
I'm
the
just
offensive
asking.
line. Fix the offensive line in the rest of the draft and in the free agency. I mean, and find a way to get a receiver. I mean, the Giants are screwed because we have
What do you
so
do?
many.
What do they do with Saquon?
What are you going to get from in a draft? Third round.
Well, he's a
maybe?
free agent after this year. Can't
The
trade him.
problem is he's worth more to the Giants than a third round, but that's all a team's going to give up for Saquon as a third round. You're not getting a first, maybe a low two, maybe
Depends
a low
on the
two.
team for next year. For the
What
next
did the
year.
Giants do with Waller? That was a 1-year rental. I think the Giants got to let him go.
Yeah. The only two there's right now for me when I look at this Giant team and the current landscape of this team. I mean, you got Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence. Those are your foundational pieces. You're keeping two of the most important, two of the best players at their position and in the league in general. Deonte Banks is coming into his own and becoming one of those corners that we can build around defensively in the secondary. Kayvon Thibodeau, he's another guy that you're going to keep as one of the foundational pieces. And then to me, everybody, maybe, Bobby O and then Micah McFadden. Those would be the only guys. Like, there's your guys that you keep. Offensively, you're kind of in a good luck position.
Two guys, Saquon and Andrew Thomas. That's it. I'll tell him keep him. And I'm not talking about Jalen Hyatt because he just got drafted. So don't get me wrong. If anyone watches this, they're like, oh, what about? Stop. I'm not a effing idiot. No. Maybe John Michael Smith. I don't know how. I got to look up how he's done well, but
we got, dude, right now, everybody,
and I'd realistically look at the coaching staff too in the mirror too.
Yeah. Kafka is a definitely. I mean, I don't think the Giants don't get rid of Martindale. Kafka more likely than
Martindale might have left. He almost left this year.
Well, if he gets an opportunity, maybe he does. I hope he doesn't. He wants to retire.
I don't think anyone's going to take him after this year because the Giants' defense.
They've been pretty good at times, man. They've been bad, but their offense. It's been a lot of offensive problems.
I totally understand what you're saying because if we were just talking about that in the sense, look at the game last night. The Jets' defense beat the shit out of the Chargers all game last night. Shut down Herbert. Couldn't do anything. But the Jets' offense was so putrid that the Jets defense gave up 27 points. If you looked at the total stats and said, we're going to shut down Herbert, hold him under 191 yards total offense, Herbert and them are going to be off on third down, blah, 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 and all this other stuff, you would be like, who's going to win the game? You're like, oh, the Jets won the game. Like,
it's very simple. Watching the New York Giants and the New York Jets. Ted, tell me if you heard this one before. Oh, brother, these guys stink.
Honestly.
Last
weekend they joked about it like one of the worst football games in like 50 years. And we sit back and look, oh, the Jets are a good team. No, they're not. Their defense is absolutely elite. Their defense is top
times. If you're a New York Giant and New York Jet fan, it is
go home.
It's
go home, grab the biggest bottle of booze you could find, drink it at 1:00, and whenever you wake up, the nightmare will be over. Honestly.
That was great. I love it. That was great. Yeah. All this weekend for the Giants. Oh my God. Yeah. I think we might have to drink with this guy.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to watch the game.
I don't know how much I'm going to watch of it, but I didn't even watch. It was pitiful watching.
Dad and me said it might be a red zone day.
I don't know, man. And then the Jets play on Sunday Night Football against the Raiders.
Well, because there was a lot of high hope that New York was.
I know. He's got high hope.
Dude, all the primetime games this week sucked. The Thursday night game is awful. Sunday night and the Monday night game.
That's a big deal for us, though. That game's a big deal.
And then Buffalo
because the Bears win. The Bears win. That's number 3. The Giants most likely will lose. That's 2. Giants move up to 3. So we got a massive game.
Are we rooting for Carolina?
No, room for the Bears
to win. Yes,
we're not the Bears.
But they still have Carolina's pick.
It's okay. Whatever. Maybe I don't see the Giants. Maybe the Giants win one more game the rest of the year, bro. Maybe.
I mean, imagine think about the Giants situation. I mean, the Bears. If I'm the Bears,
Giants are possibly going to go 2-16.
The Giants are better. 2-15.
2-15. The Giants are going to go 2-15. The
Giants,
possibly.
The Bears better than the Giants.
The Giants are the worst team of football to me.
which is crazy because they're not.
But the people that think that, because Carolina has a worse record, they're in the running. But the New York Giants, to me, are the worst team in football. I think the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in football over the Philadelphia Eagles. Even though the Philadelphia Eagles are 8-1, what I watch on the tape, I watch everything, just like you guys. But I know you guys think just because record-wise they're better. No, that's what I'm trying to say. I think the Giants are the worst team in football. Points per game, awful. They're historic. They're right now ranked 21st all time at 11.2 points per game. They're awful. They are awful. They're not good. It is a lot of back to square one for the New York Football Giants. What the fuck?
Do you realize we just wasted 35 minutes of our life talking about the New York Giants and Jets?
We have to, man.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably our best conversation we've had.
Well, the bye week's coming. There's the bye week's after this week. So let's finish up.
Yeah,
with the teams that after a huge week slated games
matchups to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about this a little. So everybody likes to hear the word buy or sell, love it or shove it. Well, we're going to say lock in or lock out for teams that we think could be contenders, but also very well could be pretenders as well. So I got a list of teams, Ted. It's very simple. Lock in, lock out. You give me your reasoning and don't go on until next year.
I'm not. I'm going to make it quick. I got answers.
We got teams. We got 5 teams. I got 5 teams for you.
Well, there's 5
teams. The 5 teams I took. I'm not telling you who the teams are, but you'll get the understanding once I make it. Teams that I didn't put in this conversation.
Are we talking
the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Niners? And put those 5 in. So Ted, you think
what are those 5 in?
Those are the Super Bowl. Those are, to me, the Super Bowl category. These teams are are they contenders or are they pretenders? After this week, too.
No one else is contender.
All right, well, just think about it. Think about it, okay? Don't just go right off the bat. Don't screw me up with this scrap already. Don't do that. This man's literally said, they're all. Don't play this bullshit game with me.
I picked the Bills. I picked the Bills and 49ers Super Bowl. So right now that ain't.
I got the Bengals and the 49ers. So that's still in play. Okay, so lock in, lock out. Here we go. Buy it or shall I buy it? Love it. It's the same game.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
It's Keys to the City's version of love it or shove it. So Ted, first one, lock in, lock out. Dolphins, contenders, pretenders. You tell
playoffs,
me.
Super Bowl or playoffs?
We're talking Super Bowl, bro. We're talking Super Bowl because we've gotten past the point of we're over halfway.
They're going to make the playoffs, but they ain't making the Super Bowl.
Is there any chance?
No, they're not even getting the conference championship.
So you're all out.
Yeah. Unless something happens in the next 8 weeks that shocks me.
Well, here's
listen, they got to play the Jets twice. They still got to play the Bills at home. They still got to look at their schedule. I believe they play the Cowboys at the end of the season too. So their schedule is daunting as some of these other big teams like the Chiefs, Eagles. So I'll tell you, the next 8 weeks, we thought maybe the NFL season wasn't good the first 8 weeks. Next 8 weeks are going to be great because there's going to be huge games every week. They're going to have.
That's why I said, bro, the MVP is wide open. You don't have. There's no favorite right now. There's no surefire favorite. It's all up in the air. We don't know.
Yeah,
I wanted to just point to your point, just to add to your points and agree with you. But I'm going to just say it. So Dolphins, I got a little stat because I like to write the stats down. Do you know TK Tony Kornheiser does the same thing? You're like Michael Wilbon. You talk, but you got the stats. You got some stats. But I'm always the guy that I got my notes, my handy dandy notebook. Blue's Clues reference. For all the Blue's Clues fans out there. You ever watch Blue's Clues?
Yeah, I hated it. Thought the guy was so annoying.
Okay. So the Dolphins in 6 wins.
Ooh, my Blue's Clues jerk.
In 6 wins, outscoring opponents 234 to 125. By the way, the combined record of those teams are 12-30, Ted. In the 3 losses, they've been outscored 100 to 51. The teams they've played, combined record of 20-7. I'm adding it. They're all out. I'm all out. They're a finesse team. They get beat up too much by the more physical team, and that's why they're 6-3. Ted, this might be another easy one for you. Lock in, lock out. Seahawks. Are you in on them? Conference title? We looking at a dark horse conference championship appearance, Super Bowl from the Seahawks? Or did last week's, my God, beatdown in Baltimore make it a little more easier for you?
Here's the thing. They beat Detroit. Could they beat Dallas? It could beat Dallas. Probably won't. And then it comes down to Philly and San Francisco.
They play Seattle.
Yeah, I don't think I'll lock them out.
Cowboys, Seattle.
Yeah, and to be honest with you,
in Dallas, by the way,
it's going to come down to the same answer with a lot of these things, and it's something we talked about when I was banging on earlier. Geno ain't good enough, bro. He ain't good enough. And
you would think with all the talent that's surrounding this offense and on defense, you would easily put them there. You have no faith in the quarterback.
This situation, Seattle's about to run into the same crash that the Giants just ran into eventually. That Geno Smith had one good season like the Daniel Jones, and you paid him thinking he was the guy when really he's no more than a fill-in, bro. He's a spot starter when you're down, and he's the guy who can play long relief. He's good, but he ain't that good, bro. He's not good enough.
He's good. He's not great.
He's not good enough. And they're not going to probably win the division. Well, there's a chance, but there's probably more likely not. They're not. So that means they're going to be on the road for 2 games, and I don't think he's good enough to do it.
So I take it.
Well, all of a sudden, 9 years in the league, all of a sudden he's going to be Joe Montana. It's not happening.
So lock out on the Seahawks.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're making this easy for me right now because you really just take it. Yeah, especially what you just said, Geno Smith. There's no. I mean, how much more do you have to say? The guy was playing for 10 years. The guy was a bench, a backup for the entirety of his career. He had one great season. We give him a massive contract, like the Daniel Jones situation.
He's most recognized for stopping Eli's streak. Okay, that's the best thing he's known for. And he had one good season. Thank God.
Why do you bring me up to that day? That's a dark time in my life.
It was against the Raiders, so.
Yeah, it was against the Raiders, too. That was a dark time. Ben fucking McAdoo.
And they got beat that day, too.
Ben McAdoo. Hey.
And then 2 years ago today, I was at the Giants-Raiders game.
Wow.
I remember.
This one could be – we got 2 more after this one, and these 3 are interesting because I want to see your reasoning behind this. Lock in or lock out the Lions. We talked about them, Ted. There was at one point we thought the Detroit Lions – on this show we said the Detroit Lions were the best team in football, and then they got absolutely – beat up by the Baltimore Ravens, and everything changed on them.
To the answer,
Ted, are you in on the Detroit Lions?
If they're in the AFC, my answer would be lock out. But because they're in the NFC, I'll put them locked in. I think.
Why would you not? Why would you have them locked out in the AFC?
Because I don't.
Who's better than them in the AFC?
The 3 teams you already have above them: Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens.
So they'd be in the 4. Okay, are they better than Jacksonville?
Jacksonville's like 11-3 or something in their last 14 games.
Are they better than Miami? Well, you didn't say Jacksonville.
Where are they playing?
Yes. Yes. Neutral site, better than Jacksonville. Yes or no? That's it. Yes or no?
I feel like they're even. I think they're better than Jacksonville, yes.
Okay, Dolphins. Yes or no?
Oh, fucking 2 on that offense is so good. I would say 2 would be them.
Okay. Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
And then I think the Bills are borderline beating them.
Okay.
I know guys the Bills haven't played.
So you're buying into them in the NFC then.
Yeah, because I don't trust Dallas. I think the Lions' offensive line is good enough to hold up against DeMarcus Lawrence and Mike.
Will their physicality work?
Yeah. Well, they're going to get
work
healthy.
Work to their benefit.
They're going to get healthy. Montgomery's coming back. All right. They got 3 good receivers. They got a really good tight end in Sam Laporta. Jared Goff doesn't fear I think what he used to fear when he was a young kid. I think he earned his adult stripes in the football sense of in the NFL, and I feel like he can go into any place right now and could win. And I like what they did on the defense side of the ball through the draft and through what they're doing. And I just think of last year when they had nothing to play for, they went into Green Bay and beat Rodgers. They went into the Chiefs' stadium, first game of the season. I know, I get it. 2 guys are out, but they went in and still won the game. They've won some games that I think we're still waiting for them, but I'll put them lock in. I think they're good enough to get to at least a conference championship.
I think this is how I feel. Their physicality matches up better to me than Seahawks and the other team that we're going to talk about in just a brief minute or 2. Their physicality. They can match up with the 49ers because they're physical. They love to run the football. If they're healthy, when they get David Montgomery back, and if they use Jahmyr Gibbs as like a X factor, use him as an X factor, have him in because it takes away at least a defender or 2
Well,
or then you could get back to running the. You can have Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs on both sides. It's possible to have him on offense at the same time. Use him as a weapon. He is an explosive weapon. David Montgomery brings the thunder, and then Jahmyr Gibbs is the lightning. They can match up with their physicality with anybody in the NFC. That's including the Eagles and the 49ers. And yes, I do agree. Jared Goff has earned his stripes. So I'm going, Ted, I hate that we got to do this, but I agree with you. I'm in on the Lions too. Definitely a dark horse contender for the NFC in the Super Bowl. How about this one, Ted? I'm curious to see how you feel about this one because they do have a great quarterback. They have a very good defense too, and an underrated defense, I should say. They got weapons on offense. How about this team? Lock in, lock out. Jacksonville Jaguars. Division is theirs to lose. It's theirs, unless they blow it. They have the talent to match up with anybody in the NFL.
Yeah.
They have the quarterback. They have the coach. And
they've also they also create more turnovers than a lot.
They have an underrated defense.
I believe they are one of the top teams in turnover margin. They don't turn the ball over, and they create a lot of turnovers on defense. They're right on the brink. I'll say at this point, are they beating
Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore right now?
No.
Neither one. Neutral site game.
No. Because all three quarterbacks are better than the quarterback that they have. Trevor Lawrence hasn't taken that next step. He's good. It's like the question I have with Herbert. They're good.
I think you're leaning towards
lockout.
You're locked out on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. Because I think Miami's good enough possibly to beat them too. And
no, I would take them over Miami. I would have them over, and they beat Buffalo already. I would say they beat. They have a good enough defense where the Dolphins' offensive line. I've been saying it all year. Their offensive line is still a major concern for this team. Yes, they got the speed. They got the 4x100 team. I get it. They're going to get Devon A-Chain, like he likes to be pronounced, is coming back in a few weeks. That's just another guy to use with all that explosiveness. So they already got Jalen Waddle. They got Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, and then they're going to get Devon A-Chain back. So they got the speed, but they don't have the physicality. Their offensive line is not good. I would take the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Dolphins. I think the Jaguars are the fourth best team in the AFC right now. But I would not put them in the Super Bowl caliber either. I need Trevor Lawrence, and we remember the second half of last year, Trevor Lawrence and this Jacksonville Jaguar team went nuclear and started kicking ass. Won a playoff game. They made the epic comeback. They have the talent to beat anybody. It's just, do they put it all together, and can the consistency stay in and play 60 minutes for them? So
I mean, I
go lock. I'm agreeing with you. I agree with you.
I mean, here's who they've beaten: the Colts, Falcons, Bills, Colts, Saints, Steelers. They lost to the Chiefs and the Texans. They got crushed by the Texans. And then 17-9 against the Chiefs. That was when we were in Florida. They couldn't do anything against. But now we're realizing the Chiefs' defense.
That's when oh my God, where were we at? Why am I forgetting the name?
We were at Fergs.
We're at Fergs.
Yeah, we were watching that game, swearing we were dying that day. The 49ers, they play this week. That's a real test game.
That's when we saw the Giants have a life. Yeah.
Then they got the Titans, the Texans. Yeah. And then if you look down the road, they got the Bengals, Browns, Ravens, and then 3 easy games: Bucks, Panthers, Titans. So we'll see. This team is capable of doing big things. We'll just see if they can really put it all together. It's the possibility.
All right, Ted, we got one more. And it wouldn't be a list
without the Dallas Cowboys
if we didn't add Mr. Obvious himself, the Dallas Cowboys. Lock in or lock out. Now, I'll let you, I want to see what you say. I'll hold my answer. But are you in at the Cowboys after this week's performance in Philly, where they had the opportunity to win? Are you in on them now, buying them into maybe finally getting to an NFC title game? And please, God, don't have
Yes.
the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Are you locking in on the Dallas Cowboys?
Capability of getting the conference championship, yes.
I'm out of here. I can't do this.
Yes.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because they should have won Sunday.
Do this.
The typical Dallas thing is they made the mistakes.
Don't do this to me, Ted.
From Dak not spiking the ball after a sack, which would have saved them time. The Eagles gave them every opportunity to win that game. Are they at that level of the Eagles and 49ers? No, because here's the thing. They don't fear the Eagles.
But they fear the 49ers.
Right now, the 49ers own them, but all it takes is one game. And last year, if you think about it.
Well, it hasn't gotten any better, Ted.
A couple.
Hasn't gotten any better.
A couple key issues. Tony Pollard gets hurt. Dak misses a deep throw to CeeDee Lamb. Maybe Dallas beats 49ers this year. So, I have a weird feeling this year about them. If they lose, they lose. But I think in the NFC, which is so wide open, all they're going to have to do is win one game, which means they'll probably, if Philly gets the 1 seed, they'll probably end up playing, they'll be the 4 or 5, and they'll end up beating whoever the 4 seed is, which will probably be the Saints. Not guaranteed, but likelihood, yes. And then they would play Philly in the divisional round. And that means you'd have to play your divisional opponent for the 3rd time.
Damn, man. Why you do that to me?
You can't lock them out. Not in this NFC. But not in this season. Too many weird things have happened. And Dak played great Sunday. He was the best player on the field. Him and Hurts. CD had a great game. Ferguson had a good game. They blocked well. Here's the thing. It wasn't that Dallas is not good enough. But Dallas has miscues down at the end of the game, either if it's time management, clock plays, whatever it is. They do it to themselves. They step in the puddle of water every single time.
Ted,
they never miss that step or skip over it. So, Ted, but I'm just still going to lock them in right at this point.
So you had lock out on the Dolphins, Seahawks, lock in on the Lions, lock out on the Jags. I noticed a trend. You locked in on the Cowboys. So you locked in on the NFC. But that's the NFC. Ted, you did it to me, man. You know who you're like? No, not even close. Fredo.
You just say
Fredo. You broke my heart. Ted, you broke my heart. You're breaking my heart right now. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys played Dak Prescott specifically. Best player on the field Sunday night, without question. He was better than Jalen Hurts, without question. CeeDee Lamb, they probably had the 2 best players on the field that night, CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. But Ted, you just said it. To win football games, to win championships, you have to be complete. This team is great 80% of the time. That 20%, though, is so massive because it's all about the miscues. It's all about the same old clock management, the decision-making. That 20%, yes, it's so small, but yet it's so big. And it's the reason why the Dallas Cowboys for 28 years haven't gone to a conference title game, Ted. So I'm locking out because teams that win championships are complete. They got the players, they got the execution, but they also got the awareness and the smarts. The Dallas Cowboys have the players. They have the talent. They have the execution, but they don't have the smarts and the awareness. That's why they screw up. Penalties. That's all part of the game. That's all part of the game. I get it. It gets a little annoying, a little tedious. It's annoying, a pain in the ass for the refs sometimes to overtake games. But it's part of football. They have all the qualities and the traits to get to a Super Bowl every year. It's like the Los Angeles Chargers every year. But it's the same thing that they both have. The awareness and the smarts. That's why they don't win. So, Ted, I am locking out on the Dallas Cowboys. But if there's a year for them to make that appearance that they've been desperately waiting for, it would be this year. I would agree with you in that sense. But I'm not locking into them. Nope. They have to be physical. They have to beat the good teams, the great teams, I should say, because they are a good team. But they have to beat the great teams. That's all I'm going to say. Again, Ted, you broke my heart. I really thought you were going to go lock out. Pain in the ass. Unbelievable. Ted, you don't want to say anything? You know?
I said enough during the 55 minutes, my friend.
I'm talking about a couple days from now. I want to just,
I'll be chilling at work. hanging out in like nice 50-degree weather. You gonna go play some golf or do something? Go to Fort Lauderdale?
Going to the beach, bro. Happy birthday to myself.
Nah, I gotta go do something.
I am. I'm going to Fort Lauderdale.
Go do something.
Oh, I am. For goodness sake, do something.
Aruba Beach Cafe just sent me something.
Great. Can't wait to be there. Ladies and gentlemen.
You got to try something different.
I'm going to. No, I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, they'll just sit there and do the same.
Oh, here we go. Here he goes.
You never want to get outside the box. Go do something fun.
You know what? All right. First he picks the Cowboys. He's all in on the Cowboys, and now he's trying to tell me that I don't expect. Oh, okay. Here he goes. Okay.
Maybe go to Miami, bro.
You're a sophisticated man now.
Maybe go check out Miami Heat game.
You really are, bro. I've already gone to the Heat game.
All right, then don't go to Heat.
I'm waiting for them to go to the playoffs, bro. I gotta go when they go to the playoffs.
Do something.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Go experience life.
Oh, here he goes. He's a sophisticated man now.
Exactly. Can't wait to go to that Giants-Patriots game in 2 weeks.
That game is going to be massive, Ted. It's massive. It's a massive game. That's
I'll
for
be like, when they score, I'll be like, yeah, no.
No, this is what you got to bring a sign, Ted. You have to bring the sign. Oh, brother, these guys stink.
Oh, I should have a cardboard.
You got to do it. It would be so fun. It would be so funny if you did. That's all what I'm going to finish.
I'm only, you know where, how many rows I'm off the field?
Where?
14 rows off the field.
Dude,
30,
you have to do it.
30. If these guys are really bad.
Wear your keys to the city hoodie, and you got to do it. You got to do it. Represent keys to the city.
Not even a Giant jersey.
That's how I'm ending today.
All right, I got to find a cardboard. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you should definitely consider it. Definitely consider it, I should say.
Or I'll bring like a rolled up sign, white thing. Oh, brother,
these guys stink. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next episode. We got keys to the city. What? What'd you say?
I said, see ya.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought I was just going to finish. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next episode. We're Keys to the City. We are out.
You are now in tune to the Keys to the City podcast.